weapons give Alcatelas the power to turn acts of terror into acts of war.
We're launching a multilateral force to hunt AQ's new leader and contain this threat while we still can.
Bring it down! Go, go, go!
Your mission is to find, fix, and finish off high-value targets of the AQ network in Verdansk.
Come down! Heavily wounded!
These HVTs are powerful, well-connected collaborators.
They all serve one new master.
Secure! Move it! Move, move, move!
My God, was that a good trailer. So this trailer was fantastic, but it also left me with a lot more questions as to answers as to what is going on with Spec Ops. What is Spec Ops and how will it work within Modern Warfare? So that is what today's video is all about, explaining what Spec Ops is. And I'm going to break down this trailer, and then on top of that, we're going to dig into what Spec Ops actually is based off of what Infinity Ward actually gave us. And what I mean by that is Infinity Ward actually gave us an entire blog post breaking down how Spec Ops is going to work, how it's going to play within game, and how it's going to affect your game experience altogether. That is what today's video is all about. But first, we need to break down this trailer because there's so many little Easter eggs and things you may have missed throughout this thing that are just absolutely insane. So let's just dive into the trailer and break that down first. So the trailer essentially begins by explaining exactly what's going on, and that's the fact that Spec Ops is actually an extension of the single player campaign. The campaign is going to continue afterwards with various Spec Ops missions that all take place in Verdansk, Russia. Your goal is to stop the terrorist organization known as Alcatala. Now, as we know from the campaign, Alcatala is like the big bad terrorist organization run by the Wolf, aka the guy we are looking at on screen here. Now, the next important thing is actually this screen that we are looking here, the next evolution for Spec Ops. It gives you the overview of a map, and this is incredibly important because based off of everything we've seen so far, Spec Ops is almost going to work like an open world game. When you pick an operation that you are going to complete, it gives you kind of like an open world area, and it is your decision how you actually go about that mission. Now, we also learned that missions are multi-steps, and as you're seeing by the overlay here, there are 3 different X's on the map, and what you can assume is that those 3 X's are your 3 different objectives for this mission. Now, in the next section of the trailer here, what we see is a bunch of different operators in Spec Ops. Now, these operators are from multiplayer, and there's 2 divisions, the Allegiance and the Coalition. As it turns out, in Spec Ops, they're actually teaming up. So instead of fighting each other, you can actually choose any of the operators from within the game. Now, the interesting part about this is these operators are going to be led by 2 different characters. Kate Laswell, who is a part of the CIA, and we got to see in the campaign trailer, and the second one is Sergeant Komarov of the FSB. This is actually a throwback character to Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 3. This was actually a character within that game, and clearly he's worked his way up the ranks since those 2 games because he's in charge of some of these operators. Now, the next section of the trailer is obviously an operation that takes place within a pool. Now, you may recognize this pool because this is actually from a mission from Call of Duty 4. It's from the Chernobyl mission where you're playing as Captain Price and you're alongside Captain McMillan, and with that, you get to actually see this pool. So clearly, they're taking some locations from previous Modern Warfare games. Now, after showing us a couple of more locations, the next thing that they show us is that it is a 4-player co-op on a massive scale. So yes, these operations are 4-player co-op, and you can play with friends, or there is also matchmaking if you don't have any friends. The next mission that they show here appears as though the operators are attacking some sort of vault or bank or something like that, and then eventually a Juggernaut comes out. They did announce that throughout these missions, different types of enemies will spawn, all the way up to enemies in Juggernaut suits. The next thing you will see after this is one of your teammates healing someone. There you see with the stim shot. So the other thing that they announced in their blog is how classes and characters are actually going to work. So essentially by playing either Spec Ops campaign or multiplayer, you will level up your character. And upon leveling up your character, you'll unlock different weapons, perks, kill streaks, and that kind of thing. And in Spec Ops, you can pick your class just like you can in multiplayer with your own primary weapon, secondary weapon, perks, and everything. A couple things are different though. First of all, your field upgrade. Your field upgrade is going to be linked with a class, and in this game there is a bunch of different types of classes, including Assault, Recon, Engineer, Demolition, Medic, and Heavy. Each class is going to have their own ability. Obviously, as we're seeing here, Medic is going to be the class where you're able to heal and revive your teammates. Now, in the next scene here, we get to see an AC-130, and this is an actual kill streak. Now, they also explained that before the game starts, you're going to be able to choose 3 different kill streaks, and you won't just get them from killing enemies. They'll kind of be dropped in as if they're care packages throughout different areas of this open world map, and throughout the mission, you'll have the opportunity to go and get them and then use them to help your team. Now, in the other part of this, we also get to see vehicles. They announced that vehicles will be in Spec Ops as well. But then here, it gets interesting. Here, we all of a sudden have a fight on an airplane that may seem a little bit familiar to a lot of you. If a lot of you may have forgotten that this was a huge mission during Call of Duty 4 called Mile High Club, which of course was the thing that took place at the very end of Call of Duty 4. Now, this is of course the second mission from a previous Call of Duty game that we've already seen within these Spec Ops missions, which to me is pretty damn cool that they're taking these locations from previous Call of Duty games and implementing them into the actual Spec Ops missions. Now, the other thing too is you may have noticed that this is only a part of the Spec Ops mission. It appears to be the end of it as they drive the truck up onto the airplane and then attack the airplane. The one thing I will say though is if you pay attention very closely to the 2 missions, they end in the exact same way. So after they show off the Mile High Club, the very next thing is a really important scene. Here it is. So the real question there is, who is the bad guy? Who is the mystery character? And if I'm being honest, I have a couple of pretty good ideas, but it would take a very long time to explain why I think they're very good ideas. So if you want to see me make a completely separate video talking about who this mystery character is, let me know down in the comments and just simply leave a like rating on this video, and we'll dive in deep to who that character could potentially be. So we do have a little bit more information about Spec Ops that we haven't covered yet. First of all, we already talked about how this is 4-player co-op. You can either play with matchmaking or you can play with friends. You can also play solo, and there's actually 2 different types of missions. There's missions, and then there's operations. Missions are small-scale individual missions. For example, if Mile High Club was an option to play, just that individual area would be a mission. Then there are operations. These are multi-tiered events where, let's say, you storm a bank, you crack the vault, and then you get into a vehicle, drive up onto the plane, and then complete the Mile High Club. That would be an operation. So there's a clear difference between the 2. They have also announced that for completing these missions, there are star rewards. Basically, it's the exact same as old Spec Ops missions where you would be awarded stars based off of your time of completion. They've also announced that there's almost going to be some sort of leaderboard to do with these times where it compares you to the actual Infinity Ward devs, so you can try to compete against their times as well. They have also announced that there will be rewards for completing these missions. They have not announced what these rewards are, but I'm hoping they're really good. Like, for example, if you beat an operation on veteran and beat a good time, I'm hoping that you get some sort of weapon or attachment that'll actually improve you in the game and make it worthwhile playing through these missions. Honestly, from everything I'm hearing here, this sounds like an amazing PvE experience that we've never seen before in Call of Duty games. The open worldness, the scale of it, choosing different classes. It almost reminds me of Destiny raids when they're talking about it like this, and it really excites me to see what they actually do with this. And they have announced that not only is it going to continue the story of the campaign after Modern Warfare's campaign's over, but they're also going to be supporting this post-launch with more operations and missions. And since there's no season pass, it's going to be free to everyone, so everyone can always play these. Now, the one downside, the one stupid thing about this is survival. So survival is only going to be on PlayStation. There's only going to be 4 maps of survival at launch, and it won't be playable on Xbox and PC till October 1st, 2020. It's stupid. There's nothing else for me to say about it. Whatever I say isn't going to change the fact that that's the way it is. I'm sorry for you Xbox and PC players. You kind of got screwed on that one. But the good news is it seems like the majority of Spec Ops is going to be with the missions and operations, not the survival. And if I'm being completely honest, this has me incredibly excited. I love PvE, I love story, I love campaign, and the fact that they're doing all of this is so exciting. And you damn well know that once this comes out, we'll be diving deep into the backstory of these Spec Ops missions. So if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We will keep you up to date on everything Modern Warfare, on everything Call of Duty. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. And of course, let me know down in the comments what you think of Spec Ops. Honestly, I am super pleasantly surprised and can't wait to actually get my hands on it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too